can Islamic law change? If you check out the uqubat, there are some certain crimes and punishments, such as had or hudud or qisas. We can call it as lex talionis, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And also we have another kind, which is ta'zir, crimes and punishments invented by the lawyers, by the government. But the thing is, if you check out the original crimes and punishments in Islamic law, in the uqubat, we mostly see physical punishments. Why there are no imprisonment or there are no fines, monetary punishments in Islamic law, but only physical punishments as beating someone or mutilating someone or executing, killing the person? We are going to see that in time, we are going to have imprisonment as a punishment or fines as a punishment in Islamic law. It is going to change in time. If we check out the legal code of Mehmet II, we would see that there are fines, monetary punishments, and it was even dependent on the economical statuses of the people. For instance, those fines would be harsher if you were rich, but if you were poor, those fines would be lesser. And that means the legal structure changed in time. Actually, it is not a surprise. With the Roman law, with the Islamic law, or with the common law, all legal systems would change in time. And I would like to, for instance, give you some other examples as well. The Quran says a Muslim can marry a Christian or a Jew, but the Caliph Umar forbid Muslims to marry non-Muslims. So is that means Caliph Umar is defying the holy book of Muslims and defying the orders of God? I would like to give you some other examples as well. Some parts of the Quran has been cancelled because first God gave a command, an order, a message with Quran, but later on God gives another command which is conflicting with the first order. That means the first law has been cancelled, which means mansukh ayah, and then the later order should be followed. The new legal code would abolish the older legal codes. Lex posterior derogat lex prior, which means the later law cancels the former law. That's what mansukh ayats are about. Throughout the Islamic history, there have been some interpreters claim that God is not bounded with time and space. God knows past, present, and future. So that means God would not change decisions. So that means there should not be any mansukh ayats. So that means all the orders are valid simultaneously. None of the orders have been cancelled because God is not like a human, not bounded with time, and he would not change his mind, which is actually sounds like a valid argument. If he does know the past, future, and present, he should not have to change his mind. He already knew the later consequences, and he would knew that he is going to give a different order, so he wouldn't give the first order. Some stand against this argumentation and claim that yes, God is not bounded with time and space, so he's all-knowing with the future and past and present, so he would not change his mind. But us humans, we are bounded with time and space, and our consciousness act according to time and space. So that means God would only give us commands according to our understanding, with our timeline. Because of that, God is giving an order, later changing and giving other orders, not because God is changing his mind, but because our social structure is turning into something else. So actually, it opens a door for us that legal structure would change in time. Muslims were praying to Jerusalem, not to Mecca. Later, they changed their direction and they continue to pray to Mecca. So in time, we see that orders, norms, legal structure is changing. Those are the examples. Let's say, for instance, Umar can forbid some orders from Quran because it was about the social structure of the people, and the social structure can change in time. Or else, if you deny that, you are actually burying Islamic legal structure in the past. You know what is the purpose of law? Justice. It is same for the Roman law, it is same for the common law, it is same for the Islamic law. How we can achieve justice can change in time because of the economical or social structures, or how else I can explain the existence of different kind of legal schools throughout the Islamic history, Islamic law. The reason we did have those kind of physical punishments in the early stages of Islamic law, Muslims were in a kinship society. There was no government, there was no state. It was an egalitarian structure. It was an egalitarian society. It was a kinship society. It was not a civilized society. There was no class distinction. There was no government. If you don't have a government and if you don't have class distinction, you would not have prisons, you would not have fiscus, so you would not have fines, monetary punishments, or you would not have imprisonment because you don't have prisons in the first place. It can change in time, so no one should be executed according to Islamic law today, because Islamic law should also change, can also change throughout the history and time. I'm not claiming that today we can change the direction of prayer, or today we can change the place of Hajj. I'm not claiming those kind of things. Those are the part of Ibadat section. Those are the norms between man and God. The norms, the laws, the legal structures on the physical world, on the social structure, let's say the criminal law or the civil law, the muamalat, for instance, can change in time. Some would think the Islamic law, since it is the commands of God, cannot be changed in time because it is the religion. It is fixed, but it is not actually. It is a legal structure. And like all other legal structures, it can and it should be changed. And if we check out the legal history of Romans, in the post-classical era, they saw the age of classical period, Pax Romana period, as a golden age, for instance, and they envied that age. And they made an important legal document, Corpus Juris Civilis. Does Islamic history had a similar example? Do we have a codification age for the Muslims, for the Islamic law? Ottomans made an Islamic codification in the 19th century when the French made their civil code, which made an important example for the European nations. And many European nations copied that idea and made their own civil codes. So some legal scholars claim that maybe we should also take that French civil code, translate it into Turkish, into Ottoman language, and we should maybe use that legal code. Some of the Islamic scholars in Ottoman Empire stand against that idea, and they claim that we should make our own legal code according to our legal procedures and according to our legal history. So law scholars in the Ottoman Empire united and created a new legal code, just like Corpus Juris Civilis. They created Mecelle-i Ahkam-ı Adliye. If I translate it into English, Adliye means justice, Ahkam means decisions, Mecelle means corpus. So it is the corpus of legal decisions. It is like Corpus Juris Civilis, but it was totally Islamic. So we might claim that yes, it was a time for the Muslims to create a new codification. So it is a different part of Islamic legal history, we might claim. And it was followed by many other nations even after the fall of Ottoman Empire. For instance, from Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Hijaz, and Egypt, and so on and so on. And also, if you might remember, I was talking about ijma as a legal source last week. And do you remember what the Ottoman parliament was claiming to be? The Ottoman parliament was claiming that that parliament is the house of ijma. Since the consensus was a legal source, the decisions of parliament should be seen as a legal source for the Islamic law. So the decisions of the parliament, the laws made by the parliament, should seen as a new interpretations of the Islamic law, such as we have the Mecelle, a codification of Islamic law in that sense. I'm again turning to that verses from Quran, in Allah ya'muru bil adli, which means you're supposed to be just. Justice has the utmost importance in here. And also we have another verse which calls Amrahum Shura Bainahum, which means you should discuss the political and legal matters to have a decision. That means if we accept ijma as a legal source, and if we accept those verses from Quran, we might claim today's interpretations of the parliament should be seen also as the ijma, and those legal codifications can explained as some kind of new age Islamic law as well in that sense. So